It's Nolan. If it's money on the line, I'ma get it, baby. J Nolan, boy. Game point on the line, I'ma hit it, baby. Fresh and local, man. Yeah. When it's time for me to shine, pay attention, baby. Rex and Ivy on the board. That's how I'm living. That's how I'm living. That's how I'm living. Ain't nothing better than rocking the Coogi sweater to lunch. Doing whatever it take to get at this cheddar and lump. Set the endeavor, I'm ready, my faith is set to the sun. With so much drama, I'm contemplating to get me a gun. Hope I don't use it, don't stop the movement. Just rock the music, if I'm locked inside, just plot the rubric. That prosecution ain't gon' stop me, you're my mama pride. The Constitution brought them tears into my partner's eyes. I prophesize like Confucius, execution, the wordplay sickin'. No, I ain't rhyming for no first place ribbon. This ain't my first take, I'm hungry like my first plate given. So get yours, cause I'm piss poor, pushing these limits like Rick Ross. I'm it, legit boss, never flip raw ever. I just spit bars, clever, rap my click across the measure. Stand firm like Omega, wildin' for that respect. I'd rather you see my heart than some diamonds around my neck. Blah. If it's money on the line, I'ma get it, baby. Game point on the line, I'ma hit it, baby. When it's time for me to shine, pay attention, baby. Keep turning where you at. That's how I'm living. That's how I'm living. That's how I'm living. Let's get this paper, boy.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. If you enjoyed that song that you just heard, it's called Gang Point. It's a song I did a while back. It's only available on SoundCloud, so if you look it up, that's the only place you're gonna find it, but it is available for you. Shout out to the Fresh and Local team, man. We haven't really done music together and came together and done a lot of stuff lately, but shout out to Rex Navi, shout out to G-Lo, shout out to Keith Turner. Phil was handing with it, Gumbo Soul, the whole squad, man. Still number love and respect to y'all. Now, getting into today, we're going to be getting into Miss Nicki Minaj. All right. Now, there seems to be a little bit of information circulating online. She was on Queen Radio recently, and it seems that she was giving a little bit of the business to some of the other girls in the game, but she was doing it very lightly. If you've ever tuned into any episodes of Queen Radio on Station Head, you know Nicki Minaj has developed code language that she speaks to the Barbs, her fan base. To be honest, although it does come across as weird to some, it does seem to be a little bit genius for an artist to be able to communicate with their fan base in a specific way, kind of separate from the rest of the industry, kind of separate from the rest of society for the most part. And you know, they get to have their own thing, right? When we talk about the world of entertainment, when we talk about artists coming into music, one thing that a lot of executives like to speak about is called world building. That's something that a lot of artists try to do when they go into crafting their album, creating a sound, creating a storyline, you know, things that people can follow along with. But it seems that Nicki Minaj has just created her own, you know, place where she can get on. If she wants to get on daily, she can. If she wants to get on weekly, whatever it is, she's going to get on there. The motherfucker's going to jump on there. The motherfucker's going to buy Pink Friday 2. They're going to buy whatever singles from the album. And in real time, when you're sitting on that motherfucker station head, it's going to show you exactly the activity. They got comments on that bitch now they didn't used to. So they having a good old jolly time. Every time she log in, they going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Now, someone recently came out and said to me, and I want to give respect. They said, yo, J Nolan, you seem to be giving Nicki Minaj a lot of credit. Maybe more credit than she deserves lately. And, you know, my whole thing is I'm not in the business of taking on people's beefs, right? So when I come on here and I give love to Nicki Minaj, when I come on here and I give love to Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, even when I give love to JT, because I don't have anything against her, etc. It's not, you know what I'm saying? I'm speaking based on myself and whatever nuanced thoughts that I put into the situation at hand that I'm talking about. So if you don't like whomever, that's your prerogative. You're entitled to not like somebody, but don't try to put that on me like I have to take on your feelings about somebody just because you happen to be watching my video. Okay? So I just want to make that perfectly clear. And I'm not saying this to be defensive. I'm just being honest. And, you know, I have to say that not only towards Nicki, but also towards the Drake fans, the Kendrick fans, because it seems like whenever I seem to give anybody a semblance of humanity or just a second thought towards what it is they have going on, it seems that I'm supposed to be the bad guy, or all of a sudden I'm wrong, or I'm not speaking for the community. But I'm not the figurehead of a community. You know what I'm saying? The insiders, we're supposed to be free thinkers. We're supposed to be having open conversations. I don't speak for y'all. I speak with y'all. I want to know your thoughts, but I also don't want to be disrespected in the conversation. I mean, I think that's a pretty simple concept. But anyway, getting into the Queen Radio episode, there were a few things that were addressed, right? One of the main subjects that was talked about in this episode was "It Look Easy, Don't It?" And this is a concept that Nicki actually had trending on Twitter, and it went viral, trending after the Ice Spice album dropped. And the remnants in the industry were that it was going to sell 17K, 19K, cap out around 20K, whatever the case may be. Just a couple of days ago, the mark was 19, but after the full cycle, the full week of tracking, Ice Spice has clocked in with about 28,000 for her first week. So she's going to be at, what is that, number 17 or 14 on the charts? Let me go see just to be accurate. All right, yeah. So she's debuting at number 18 on Billboard's Hot 200, which is for the albums category, with 28,000 sold. Ice Spice came out and responded to that. She said that her previous EP, Like, did 15K. So she says, "Thank you to everyone who supported me then, and thank you to all the new supporters. Y2K World Tour been so fun that these numbers are cool and all, but you should have seen that Boston crowd last night, NYC tomorrow." So she's coming out basically unfazed. She feels like she's growing. She feels like she's elevating. This is her debut album, but of course she had the EP out last year. Honestly, I feel like when it comes to Ice Spice, and I think I said this before, I think this experiment was nice. But I don't think Ice Spice needs to be I don't think she needs to be an artist that has to put out an album every year. I don't think she needs to be an album cycle every year. I honestly think she should probably eat more off of the Cardi B blueprint than anything. Not to say she got to take 7 years between albums, but if she were to take 2 years and then put out an EP, you know what I'm saying? Just drop singles, like, she should be. Who could I compare her to? I guess Cardi is the only one, right? Other than if you want to go into like the celebritants or the celebrities that kind of do music sometimes when they feel like it, but then they go do movies. I think Ice Spice, she needs to like ride out her celebrity, right? She should ride out doing like she's already done 2 performative PR stunt relationships. Keep doing that. Keep being linked to successful men in fucking entertainment. Not saying whore yourself out. I'm not saying that, but I am saying date niggas, have fun, be the Paris Hilton of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. Like, just pop out, goddamn, let people talk about your new look. Be the fun girl on the scene. Twerk when you want to. Drop a single every 3-4 months to keep your name relevant. And drop a project every couple years. Like, I don't think you should be in this cycle with like legitimate rappers. I think we need to remove her from the category of legitimate rappers. She never earned that place to begin with, and I think it's unfair to put her in that category And it actually discounts the rest of the field because I don't think she's ever going to be seen as that. I don't think she desires to be seen as that. So that's what I'm saying towards her. But anyway, getting back to the conversation on Nicki. They had this thing of it look easy, don't it? Which came out around the time people were discussing what her project was going to do, Spice. And there's also those out there that are looking at the JT project, which sold 27,000 first week. And to be honest, if we just take a little bench break to look at the fact that JT did 27, Ice Spice did 28, to me, that lends a lot more credibility to JT's 27, if I'm going to be honest. Ice Spice, for the last 3 years, they've been promoting her nonstop. She's got all type of brand deals, the motherfucking Dunkin' Donuts, Munchkins, all type of shit, right? She got the fucking Nicki Minaj co-sign. She got the Taylor Swift co-sign. She even got to go perform with Taylor Swift. She was in the box seating at the Super Bowl with Taylor Swift and co. So she's been doing like what you would expect a pop artist to do as far as like the access that she's gained over the last few years. So with everything that she's done, and for her to only sell 28,000, but then we have JT, who's they're branding her like she's a new artist. I don't call her a new artist, but they're branding her as that. A lot of people are trying to tailor the narrative that she's a brand new artist, because it's her first solo undertaking. For her, that's an amazing upside because I'm pretty much right on par with an artist who has what seemingly infinite resources, right? They keep booking Ice Spice shows internationally, overseas. They're linking her with Central C so that she could go do those events out in London and all of this type of stuff. This is access that we haven't seen JT get, but she's still right there. But nonetheless, Nicki says it look easy, don't it? As we know, Pink Friday 2 came out and did 228 first week. It was higher than that, but a lot of those sales got chipped off the old block because the fans were doing a little bit too much. The Barbs was double, triple, quadruple buying. Them niggas was sending each other money to buy the album. I ain't never seen that shit before. I ain't never seen a fan base send another nigga money like, hey, you trying to get your album, nigga? I seen your dub to get it. That's some shit, man. You say what you want. That is some shit. Right? So she legitimately sold 200,000 more than her underlings because they've been linked with her. They've been seen with her. It's been expected that she was going to be, playing roles in their careers. And it seems that those experiments have ran their course. Right? But I also believe she wasn't just talking about them. I think she also was talking about Megan because just a couple weeks ago, she was also throwing shots about that 60K. Megan came out and sold 64 her first week, but Megan's still on the charts. Megan's still in the top 40 on the charts, as a matter of fact. I think her album's about to hit about 150 in this complete cycle. I don't see these other ladies reaching that in the same amount of time. So, although Megan is not as big of an artist as a Nicki Minaj, I can still see the Megan project going gold probably by the fall. You know what I'm saying? By the end of the fall, it's probably going to be certified gold. By the end of the year, at minimum. I can see that happening. I don't see that as a stretch of the imagination. Her last project basically was on the same trajectory. It performed the exact same, except she was still in the 1501, 300 Warner deal. You know what I'm saying? That was a 3-way situation. Now, she's doing it herself with distribution straight via Warner. So now she's having the same amount of success, same amount of performance as far as her music, but she's running the ship herself. Again, Roc Nation is not her label for anyone out there trying to speak to that. It's idiocy if you keep repeating the same thing that's not correct. It's okay to say it one time and not know. It's stupidity to keep saying it when you're being corrected. That's all. But I think she was throwing a blanket statement out there towards them all, basically saying it looks very easy to come take this spot, right? It seems like it's vacant. It seems like the fact that I've been here for such a long time, people would be primed and ready for a successor to the throne. But unfortunately, no matter how much you do or what you got going on, it's just not going to happen. Time will tell if it does, right? At this point, her greatest competitor is Cardi B, coming off of the Invasion of Privacy album 7 years ago, going on 7. But we'll see what she does. She's supposed to have an album dropping out before the year is out. We don't know if that's completely true. She's got a lot going on. There's another video we have talking about that. I'm not going to get into all the Cardi B's business right now. But she's on the hook to see how she can perform and bring, you know what I mean, bring people to the center. And there's a lot riding on her situation, right? Atlantic has a new CEO. They just hired Elliot Grange. If you don't remember who Elliot Grange is, I just talked about him the other day. He is actually the CEO of 10K Projects, which is the original label that signed Ice Spice, right? Ice Spice is signed to 10K Capital, but last year, 10K left Capital and did some sort of joint venture over at Atlantic. Now, I don't know if he's going to be able to get Ice Spice off of Capital and over to Atlantic. Maybe that was the confusion, why this album didn't have very big promotion, didn't really have big budget videos, didn't really have a lot of anything going on that was interesting. The artwork was ass. Like, there was just so many bad things going on with this project. It seemed like a clusterfuck, and maybe that's because her label was going through, and I'm talking about 10K, her label, because that's who she's directly signed to. They were, going through their own negotiations to go to a different company. It would seem like his main objective would be to get Ice Spice over to Atlantic so that he could have her in-house rather than still trying to do conduct her business on behalf of another company, because that's going to create a conflict when he's the head of a whole label, a whole major system now over at Atlantic. He's going to be over Cardi B. So maybe that gives him a little bit of glimpse into their infrastructure to see how they've ran Cardi's situation, to see how he could mold the marketing, promotion, and money that maybe he puts into Ice Spice. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where that goes. Just keep an eye out. You know what I mean? We don't know what's going to happen with that, but we do know Atlantic is over there. I mean, Elliot Grange is over there. And of course, that's Lucian Grange's son, right? And of course, Lucian Grange is old as shit. At some point, he's going to have to retire as the CEO of Universal. And it seems he would like to pass down the company to his son, but he has to prove that he can run a major label first rather than just getting the keys and fucking everything up. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Atlantic does over the course of the next couple of years. Just keep an eye on that. Getting back to Nicki, she says it looked like it's easy, right? So also in this conversation with the Barbs, she comes out and talks about having to find a tight knit around you, right? Watching your circle, having people close to you that make you feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? People that will protect your private matters, people that won't come out and speak on you in a way that's going to make you look bad, right? As we know, some of those underlings that we've talked about all have different incidents and infractions that have taken place in this calendar year that have made things look a little bit funny. Right? So I'm going to go ahead and play some of the audio from Nicki in this Queen Radio episode. I know y'all don't really like hearing her for the most part, those of y'all that don't rock with her, but y'all could bear. You know what I'm saying?
having people in your life who you really feel comfortable around is so important. And who, you really feel compatible with and who you really feel will always protect you or try to is so important. Because anywhere you work in this world, you will deal with so many things in the workplace, in the work environment, in your work world. And it so many of the people that, are the ones that you really cling to outside of your work. So many of those people are the people you have to really assess. You really have to assess everything. And I think a lot of times, you just want to, hope the best for people. Like, but the truth of the matter is, we really create our own little small tribes and move away and do our own things, and most of the time that's where all of that healing happens, and it's really beautiful. And it might not be a huge, it might not be 100 people. It might be 10 people. Or maybe it is 100 people. But it's about the way they, Yes, Naya Boo 45, yes. So the way they make you feel and your comfort, You know what I notice so often? The people who you think are the ones around for the right reasons, so often you realize, wait a minute. So you have to just really, really be careful in this world, honey. Be careful. Those are the ones that go around loud and proud, talking. Why would a person do that? Why would a person do that? Why would a person speak on a person they love? Why would a person speak openly about a private person? Why would a person let me ask you something. So that's why here at Barb Mania, we are being very mindful of what's being posted when we post up. Because the people you might least expect are doing the same things. So you gotta go out there and find your family, and you know, your family, your other family. Find your family. What makes you feel like you're a part of a family? You know, that protection, that, like, and that love. Who would you speak about in your interviews if someone wanted to interview you? Yourself, right? It's always a bad sign if a person who's not even in your line of work, or who has never been successful in your line of work, is doing interviews with people in your line of work. I think y'all think talent, like, you could catch it like a cold, or maybe people could pass it through the genes. Even with blood relation, what God has given to me is mine. You have to go and get your own. You have to discover whatever it is that you're great at. Being a mooch and a clown don't run in my DNA the way rapper does, because I just take a liking to it, a loving to it. And then once I started doing it, I couldn't stop. See, one thing you'll always notice about a person who is that they won't really be able to make up for, oh, well, what were you doing in this time here? Were you working on this then? What serious things have you ever, really done to achieve your goals besides?
All right, y'all. So that was Nicki talking about having that circle around you. And we're going to get into all of that, right? So, number one, she talks about having people around you, finding that family outside of your family that's going to hold you down, protect you, treat your relationship with sanctity and protect you, right? Then she goes on talking about people that come out and speak on your private matters, right? I do believe that she's talking about the Ice Spice Baby Storm thing there. Remember, she talked. Remember Ice Spice earlier this year? Baby Storm came out and revealed that Ice was telling her all the intimate details about the negotiation process of trying to sign the heavy on it. She basically said that Nicki Minaj was a wretched old hag and reminded her of her mom, and that she was trying to take ownership over all of her music. She went on to also state that, the Barbie World soundtrack opportunity was also something that was originally brought to her, that she took to Nicki just because it was aligned with her brand. Excuse me. But for people that didn't know any better, they would assume that Mattel and everybody came to Nicki and she went and brought Ice Spice in. She says it was the exact opposite, right? So it's like, you trying to take my music, you trying to take ownership of my situation. You want me to be your underling, but I came over here and linked you with the brand that you've been trying to get locked in with your entire career. So I'm bringing value to the table as well. That's how she viewed it. In those intimate texts with Baby Storm, we also saw stuff about, Lil TJ, Riot, her relationship with Cleo Trapper, the whole nine, right? And Baby Storm ended up outing all that information and basically trying to say that Ice Spice stabbed her in the back by not looking out for her. She had introduced people that were interested and got Ice Spice on when it came time for her to return the favor. She didn't. Therefore, she outed her, right? Then we also have the JT interview with Keke Palmer. I feel like this also lends to where she talks about people that haven't seen success in your profession, speaking to other people that are successful in your profession. I think that's the Keke JT interview, because JT, although she is an artist that's been out here, she's been out since 2017, 2018 with City Girls. City Girls never really reached their full potential, right? They're still, unfortunately, kind of a fledgling group. JT, as a solo artist, this is her first foray as a solo artist, and she put 27,000 on the board. In music industry terms, that's not necessarily a successful project, right? So I don't know. I don't think she views that as successful. But then she's having an interview talking to Keke Palmer, who is a multi-hyphenate in the entertainment world. She's done well in music. She's done well in acting. She's done well in voiceover. She's done well in launching her production company, producing content. And in that interview, JT spoke towards certain people not wanting to help her, or not wanting help from some people, because she doesn't want it to be looked at as, oh, I looked out for you, therefore you got to do X, Y, Z, or, you're beholden to my constraints based on what I did for you, or whatever the case may be, right? She also talked about people not doing features for her and not wanting features because she wanted to go out here and do it herself and pave her own way, etc. But then she also spoke about a relationship where she felt offended, but she didn't really go all the way into detail, but it was basically hinged upon the same kind of situations of help and holding it over your head and all that different type of shit. So I do think she was somewhat referencing that. And then you also got her sister, her little sister Ming Lee, that's been out here doing interviews. She's come out and talked about how she was homeless at different points, was not receiving any help from anybody, including Nicki or anyone else in their family. And she was basically out here fucked up, trying to figure it out at 18, 19 years old. Nicki goes on to talk about talent not being passed down through DNA. Just because you're a blood relative to somebody doesn't mean that you're actually going to inherit the same level of talent, or that you're going to inherit the same level of success as someone else just because you're related. Like, you have to show up. You have to find that thing that you're good at, and you have to find that thing that you're passionate about to show up to every day. So she's basically saying, just because you're my blood relative doesn't mean that you're going to be able to just jump into doing music. If music was really your passion, if somebody were to ask you what you were doing at this point in life, or this point in life, or this point in your life, what is it that you were doing? Because rapping is what I did. Rapping is what I found. Rapping is what kept me going. And I couldn't get enough of doing it, and it got me to where I am. I don't think you motherfuckers can say the same thing. Y'all got too many distractions going on. Y'all got whatever it is you got going on. You ain't dedicated to the craft like I am, so you're not going to see the same results. And, although throwing the sister under the bus, and some people may say, where's the proof? If you want to strike it from the record, that's your prerogative. But I think everybody that she's talking about in this instant, if it's the Ice Spice, the JT, or the sister, that target kind of lands. Now, I do think it's not tasteful throwing your sister under the bus. But again, you can say what you want about that if you believe it or not, but I do believe she sent that motherfucking curved bullet to kill multiple motherfuckers. That's just how I perceive it. She then says, if somebody were to do an interview with you, who do you know that you would want to talk about? Right? Because an interview should really be centered around yourself. Why y'all keep bringing me up? She then goes on to say, Barbs, stop focusing on who I have relationships or who has relationships with me. Focus on the relationship that we have so that you don't end up on the wrong side of anything. I do believe that is also falling in line with the coded language that her and the Barbs have been using for the last few months. It's in line with the blackout that the Barbs were saying they were not going to support any other female rappers, even the ones that were supposedly associated with Nicki, just to make sure that nobody was just using them as a launching pad to get their sales up and then alienate them. So here she says, don't worry about these motherfuckers. Just stay in tune with me, baby. I'm going to carry you to the motherfucking life raft when all falls down. Also in the conversation that we did not play and will not play, she then goes on to talk to this guy named Keith, who allegedly reached out to JT within the past month or two. He hit her up in the DMs and basically said he was having a rough time. He needed money to pay for his rent. So JT allegedly gave him $1,200 to do so. He claims that they allegedly had an hour-long conversation, and within that conversation, JT allegedly made some comments about Nicki that were shady and went on to say that she didn't want no support from the Barbs. There is no direct proof of this happening, but he's come out and people are saying that he's come out and said this and that he was supposed to produce proof and all of that stuff, which hasn't surfaced online. But this same guy ends up on her Queen Radio having a live conversation with her. In the conversation, she asks him, hey, do you have any messages or intel that you would like to share with the people? She then asks him later on, well, what is it about you that was so endearing to make this person give you these coins? And he basically just said, oh, because I'm smart. Again, no names were said, but if you've become privy to any of these situations that are being talked about, you kind of know what's going on. Otherwise, you would think that it's all just gibberish. Okay? So, when it comes down to all of this and just these little talking points, I understand now why Nicki didn't want to be a part of that Spotify exhibit, the golden standard in hip hop, right? Because it was assumed that they kept her out. We then find out that she declined it, and now we see she probably declined it because she don't want to be seen in the same photo as none of these motherfuckers. She don't respect their craft. She don't respect their art form, and she damn sure don't respect their success. I ain't saying it's justified, but if you're somebody sitting in that seat, I kind of get where you be coming from. I know people gonna say she don't play nice with others, and I still do believe that to be true, right? Some people wanted to argue me down in my comments and say she don't need to. She don't need to. And I say, well, it seems she wants to compete with them, or at least at one point wanted to compete with them. Now she don't, right? But when you make the choice to go compete with them, you then put yourself on their level to be a peer, to be a competitor. Then when somebody wants to document you as such, you don't want to be in the group. Those are personal choices. But had you not engaged in none of the back and forth, engaged in none of the beef, engaged in none of the battles, engaged in none of the bullshit, perhaps nobody would have put you in that category to begin with, and you would have been seen as your own legacy, your own era, your own queen to begin with. So I think that the funny thing about the music industry, and it's not just the music industry, but everybody wants to have their cake and eat it too. Everybody wants to have both sides of the fence. But most times when you play both sides, you're going to have to sacrifice something as it relates to yourself in order to assimilate to both sides of that fence. So you might as well stand on your square, live and die by your square, and just keep it at that. Right? Look at Jay-Z later in his career. He's not out here trying to compete with none of these new bozos. Right? He drops a verse here and there. He may give a nigga a feature. He may rap for 8 minutes on a DJ Khaled song. He may drop another album at some point. But I don't think he's going to be dissing nobody on that motherfucker. I don't think he's going to be engaging in a rap battle with nobody at this point. It is what it is. Let me know what y'all think about this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Much love and respect, y'all. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rags. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda, we hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer, we come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross I'm out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. When I catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.